I am hopping on just to do a quick live reminder and update um, to what the guides were talking about in April's energy update because today is a very important day. It's an important moment in time, I should say. And I've been sitting with the guides since this morning, and there's been so much coming through, and I just want to kind of touch on what's happening in the energy in the collective and maybe bring some compassion, peace, and understanding to whatever process you may be experiencing. I want to first start by saying, and please excuse the mess in the background. I am not an astrologer. And I say this all the time, but I'm going to say it again. I'm not an astrologer. I read the planets. I connect to them in a different way because planets are sentient beings. And at the end of the day, everything is just energy. And I feel this really strong connection with them. And so I bring forth information in a different way than, say, an astrologer would. But at the same time, I actually enjoy astrology. So I'm going to use some of those terms, but this is primarily an energetic experience. So today, Jupiter and Neptune are conjuncting in Pisces, and this hasn't happened in about 156 years. It is known as the Galactic Return, and it is aligning us with our home. And it's interesting that this came through as I was driving, and I had to come home and stop and record this because this morning in my YouTube membership, I did this trance channeling and transmission on grief and our home, which is our heart. And so it's always crazy to me on a mental level how things kind of click together and happen for a reason, how everything's connected, as they say. So Jupiter and Neptune are very interesting energies, and to be at home in Pisces, which is both, that's the home of both signs, is going to bring up a lot. And as the guides said in the April energy update, they said that, April was going to be a month of learning to live in totality, learning to hold the frequencies of pain and the frequencies of joy simultaneously, and choosing to make peace in that center, in the what I call the 0 point field, which is the point of harmony, where we're not holding the weight of either, but we're just experiencing the flow of both at the same time. So this conjunction is a really good example of that because Jupiter is the great benefic. It is the planet of expansion. It is the planet of manifestation. It's a planet of joy, of bliss. It makes everything bigger and more abundant. It is a planet of hopes and dreams. And it is a planet of good luck and good fortune and all of those things. But it is an expander. Jupiter is an expander. It is meant to kind of blow things up so that they can be seen in a way that maybe we need to see them, maybe that we haven't been able to see them before. It gives us clarity in that way. At the same time, it's conjuncting with Neptune. And Neptune is often detached and dreamy and um, known to kind of be up in the ethers, and at the same time, imagination, creativity, right? Those are all Neptunian energies. And Neptunian energy in itself is more of a water energy. It's very malleable. It can take on many different forms. But at the same time, right, everything in this human plane has a dualistic meaning. And so Neptune is also very confusing because if we think about it, if things can be anything and take on any form, that can be confusing to the mind. It can be confusing to the ego, and it can be something that is hard to kind of make linear or logical, which is what a lot of us, when we are in our ego and we're in our human self, try to do. So we have these two opposites, right? Meeting in Pisces, which again is their home sign. And Pisces, I am ruled by Pisces. That is the majority of my energy. And Pisces, we go to the depths of the ocean. we go to the bottom, we go to the floor. And that's where the treasure is buried. When people drop things into our energy field, imagine it as being dropped into the ocean. And eventually it's going to sink all the way down to the floor. And if we're not in our awareness and we're not catching it, we're going to allow it to sink there, especially if it's something that's not serving us. And oftentimes we're the ones who push it down into our ocean floor and repress it into our being or into the floor of the ocean. Like think about, how much is buried in the floor of the ocean. It just the conceptualizing that is crazy, right? In the mix of all of these things is also a full moon that is happening later this week in Libra, which is a cardinal sign. It is a sign that is mutable, changeable. It can change form. And so this full moon energy, as it's building, is shining light so deep into the depths. And Jupiter's coming in and just blowing that light wide open. And Neptune is there going, you can change this form. You can change this form. But that is often why so many people are so confused right now. And so all of this energy is shining all the way into the depths of our ocean, which is our emotions. So not to get too confusing because, I'm bringing all these weird metaphors in, but it's to say that right now, this week, we are experiencing two polar opposite energies and being asked to bring them into harmony. This is integration. Harmony is integration. It's where we take two physical experiences and integrate them into crystalline energy. So it's no longer heavy or it's no longer something that we are chasing, right? In that desired energy. It's something that we braid into the fibers of our being. But this energy is also, like I said in the energy update and in a recent post, I think yesterday or the day before, we are in the smack dab in the middle of this karmic portal of two new moons, which end with an eclipse. This is the energy where you are liberated. And so, as we're at this peak, whatever has been repressed deep inside of you is having to come up. And if you're fighting with it, if you are denying it, if you are not wanting to experience it, it may be rough. And even if you are accepting of it, you may be going through physical purges. I'm going through a physical purge in the way of moving and packing everything away and having to go through things. Some of you may be sick and actually physically purging. I know my son has been having flu-like symptoms and had all of these issues coming up. So wherever that energy is repressed, that is what's going to be clearing, right? So for my son, it was in his throat and his chest, grief. So a lot of not all grief doesn't just live in your lungs, but that's where a lot of it lives. And so he's been hacking shit up and it's been clearing from his nose and his lungs and his throat. And those are the places where he has energy that has been repressed and stored that needs to be purged. For me, I have had moments of intense grief, and I've just been in such a state of surrender and allowance that I will literally be driving and just start bawling my eyes out and then go right into this period of extreme laughter. Because again, we have the potential to hold these two frequencies simultaneously. And that's what it means to live in totality. This is what the guides are always talking about. It's not about picking one side of duality. Duality is there to show you the depth of frequency that's available, the range of frequency that's available for you to choose from. The point is to integrate it into harmony, it's to come into that center space. And this is the process to be able to sustain new earth frequencies and to be able to live there consistently. You have to be able to hold those frequencies simultaneously. You have to be able to live in that state of harmony, in that state of that 0 point field. And so it's really good practice this month to Allow yourself to go through the waves of pain and joy and to find that center space where you can be at peace with whatever's happening in your reality. The uncertainty, the confusion, the moments of extreme joy and bliss, and the moments of where you're like, F it, I don't want to do this anymore. None of those feelings are wrong, and nothing is wrong with you. It's just us purging what is not serving, purging what was false foundations that were lent to us by souls that are no longer serving to us, that we need to shed and reclaim the aspects of us that are our love that we gave away. And maybe that love wasn't reciprocated. Maybe that love wasn't appreciated. But as we go through this transition and reclamation, we are releasing what is not serving us. We are returning those aspects of self that were false, that were not us, that foundations built inside of us. And we are reclaiming ours and putting them in those places. And that is a confusing and sometimes physically draining experience. So I really felt called to come on here and share this because, this is just one of many, many things that are happening, and we are becoming more and more sensitive um, with the placements of where Earth is actually moving in the galaxy. On top of all of that, we are aligning with Andromeda, with the Andromeda galaxy, and the Andromedans and the fairies are the ones that co-created this matrix, this experience. And so, in a way, Andromeda is our home galaxy, and we are aligning with Andromeda. And so, that's going to awaken the Andromedan starseeds. And I'm an Andromedan starseed. I have, within Andromeda, there are many other races, including the Pleiadians and the Sirians and all kinds of others. But there are more Andromedan starseeds than there are anyone else. And it's actually the most unrecognized starseed because they are so earthly in nature. They are drawn to being in nature. They are drawn to animals. They are healers. They want to be more grounded in the earth energies because they are the ones that co-created this experience. So for many of you, you are going to experience that Andromedan activation, that moment of remembrance of why the heck you came here and chose to do this. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Give yourself compassion and allow yourself to go through this because remember, it's a game. At the end of the day, this is a game, and the roles you choose to play are the roles you choose to play. So if you feel like you have to abandon yourself to take care of something else, that's something you are choosing to play. That is a frequency you are choosing. But if you choose inside of you in solidarity that you are going to listen to what it is that you need at this time, that's you choosing you and saying, I'm here for this. And when I slow down, I'm going to speed up. And when I allow this to purge, I'm going to feel lighter. I'm going to feel more expansive. I'm going to have the clarity that I need. So give yourself grace and compassion and allow yourself to take this journey. There's going to be others of you who aren't at the depths of that emotional upheaval, who are flying high right now and experiencing massive intuition, major downloads, having these huge aha moments, having these massively spiritual experiences, because Pisces isn't just the depths of the ocean. Pisces energy is the wisdom keepers. We hold those massive metaphysical, esoteric remembrances of the magic that is us, the magic that is this experience, the remembrance that we are more than a physical being, that this is simply a vessel that we're temporarily occupying. So be open, have your heart wide open. And even though your heart's wide open, you may experience some of that grief and pain because when our heart is wide open, we feel everything, right? You didn't come here just to feel good. Pain actually feels more tangible than joy. And that's why we continue to go through those pain loops, because we get addicted to the feeling, the depth in our being. That's what we came here for. But we can have that experience with joy. So just know that when you open your heart, you are going to feel everything. You may feel pain and grief, and you may have the most epic spiritual experience you've ever had. You won't know unless you open your heart and explore and be there for it. Not with expectation, not with what I may feel, this may happen, not seeking, surrendering and saying, I'm here for this. I'm open. Whatever comes, whatever shows up is what I need to experience, is what I need to feel. And I'm going to be open to it. And I'm going to take that ride. And I may not understand it in the moment. It may feel confusing. It may feel like you're going crazy. You may feel like, what is wrong with me? You may feel, oh my God, I never want to let go of this experience. Whatever it is, just be in it. Just be in it. Be present with it. That's all you have to do. So I saw a few comments. Let me see if I can see them because I'm on my phone. No, ma'am, kitty. Happy crazy astrology day, Meredith. You're so funny. Tiffany says, I'm trying to break habits, programs that were put in place at a very young age. It's tough. Yeah, this is going to really hit the foundations, you guys. And that's why we use the metaphor of the ocean floor. And that's why, God, I'm thinking about it. What the guides brought through in today's trance channeling and the YouTube membership made so much sense now as to why it had to happen today, because they showed us literally how our foundations get holes in it, how our foundations are not secure and stable. Oops, here comes the kitty. Um, and how to reclaim those pieces, and how to have peace with that journey. So if you're struggling with this, becoming a YouTube member of the membership may help you, because that transmission was epic and it makes so much sense. But we are literally hitting some very foundational energies right now. Um, so just be patient with yourself. And some of you are going to know what's coming up and what you're working through, and some of you aren't. You don't always need to know, okay? You don't always have to know what's happening, what's coming up. Sometimes you just need to be in it. So our logical minds, our ego wants to fix. It wants to know. It wants to grab a hold of what's happening. But right now, what everyone needs to do is just be in the feeling of what's coming up for you. And through the acceptance into your heart space of that density, you will actually gain clarity. But you have to be willing to open your heart. You have to be willing to feel it, to integrate it, and to create harmony in you. So let me see if there was anything else. Oh, thank you. Corey says you make so much sense. Loved this. Yeah, she was in the transmission. My meditation this AM epiphany was let go of materialism. Oh, girl, I feel that. I am right in smack dab of getting rid of material shit. Stuff that I never thought in a million years I would let go of. I'm now at this pace where I'm like, fuck it, let it all go. Whew. All right. That was a lot. And literally, when I could feel this pressure, I was driving home and I could feel this pressure coming in with like all this stuff I needed to get out. So I hope that this understanding of what we're experiencing energetically is helpful to help you let go of trying to figure out what's happening, and just be with whatever it is you're experiencing, whether you deem that good or bad, and just making peace with it, and surrendering and giving yourself a break from needing to know, and just being in that uncertainty. Because the moment that you accept what's happening and stop fighting with it or trying to fix it is the moment that you are going to come into pure acceptance, and it's going to go, it's going to integrate way faster. Okay. So I hope that helps. I just wanted to come in and bring that reminder of what the guides said we were going to experience in April. And here we are right in the damn thick of it. And we're going to have there is going to be some reprieve coming. But let me just say this in the kindest, most compassionate way that I can from a more grounded perspective. This is an opportunity for you to prepare for living in these new frequencies. So this month, you are being given the opportunity to live in totality, to live in that space of harmony, to live in that 0 point field and allow yourself to ride the waves of emotion and make the space to be able to sustain those higher frequencies. Whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, whoever it is that you're wanting to be, whatever it is that you're wanting to experience, the only thing standing in your way of having that experience every day is your ability to sustain the frequency in which those things live. You can't hold it sustainably if you can't hold the frequency. So this is your practice this month. Some heavy things will come up. Can you allow them to be while still having joy and still finding beauty in your everyday moments? Not because someone gave you something or not because you had an experience, but finding the beauty in the mess, finding the joy in the pain. This is what it means to live in totality. This is a practice ground. This is your first big test for a lot of you. Can you allow yourself? Don't get in your own way. Don't try to figure out how. Be present, be aware, allow yourself to feel. I see you, I hear you, you are safe. The whole act is a loving experience. Can you do this? I know you can. Enjoy the ride, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right? I love you. Thanks for hopping on my impromptu live. Now I just got to figure out how to stop it.